Hello everybody, my name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing the three, improvements displayed for the Chicago Bulls in our unfortunate defeat against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now again, we all know right now at this point in time that the wins and the losses don't necessarily matter, that it is preseason and we have a lot to get through in preseason. But with that being said, we have some improvements that has happened, and this is an article that I'm going to be reacting to, by the way. So it's not my opinion of what I think the Chicago Bulls improved in. It's what this article is suggesting that the Chicago Bulls have improved in. So that's what we're going to discuss. I love reacting to articles on this channel. You guys probably know that by now, especially in the off season. There's just so much articles there, and there's not a whole lot of news there. So until that next game against Denver, which I know we're all excited for, why not talk about what other people thought about the Chicago Bulls and their improvements? And hey, if you have your thoughts on the Chicago Bulls improvements, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I might even make another video suggesting what you guys thought the improvements, or your thoughts on the improvements the Chicago Bulls have made. And I'd love to, get some more opinions on that from all of you. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls. And again, the improvements you believe they have made. And of course, if we get enough comments, I'll be happy to make a video about it and give my thoughts on your comments as well. It's, again, an interesting time for the Chicago Bulls. We are all preparing for our next game against Denver. And there's a lot to get through. But let's start off. This article is from Fansided, I believe, or Pippin Ain't Easy. It's powered by Fansided. And yeah, without further ado, let's talk about the first thing, and that is that Coby White appears to be poised for a breakout season. Now, I think I'm not going to jump to conclusions with this one, because again, when it comes to a breakout season, there's a lot more than one game that we have to look forward to. I think anybody that's saying Coby White is poised for a breakout season after one game, I think jumping the gun just a tad bit, but let's be honest, we all want that. Who doesn't want Coby White to have a breakout season? I think the Chicago Bulls guard has become a fan favorite overnight. Again, he wasn't the most popular guy 2 years ago. Yet all of a sudden, everybody seems to love what he's doing on the court, and he looked absolutely fantastic against the Bucks. Assists, rebounds, defense, scoring off the dribble. Just a lot of positive things we saw from Coby White, which is fantastic. And whether or not he becomes the starting point guard for the Chicago Bulls, whether or not he finds his way back on the bench in that position where he thrived in last year, whatever the case may be, I just want to say, I hope he has a breakout season. I'm looking forward to seeing if he does have a breakout season, but I'm not going to guarantee he has a breakout season at this point in time, but I'd love to see it. Again, the one thing that I want to believe, I guess, is that Coby White himself believes he'll have a breakout season. I think that's the most important thing. If Coby White believes it, and with what he's showing on the court as of now, it's potentially going to happen. So again, looking forward to it. Let's see if it comes to fruition. Number 2. Billy Donovan finally has Chicago shooting the ball like it's 2023. I'm assuming this is, a message saying that the Chicago Bulls are finally shooting more three-point shots. Now, again, this is something else that I truly believe we need to see more of before we jump the gun. Again, this is kind of like a very early predictions video, if you know what I mean. You saw one game, and you saw a lot of positive things in that game, but can that translate over into the second game and the third game, and heck, all 82 games of the season? Can we really show that identity every single time out? That is obviously our biggest struggle, because we've seen the Chicago Bulls shoot the ball like it's 2023 over the course of the last previous seasons. The problem is we've not been able to do it at a consistent level and not do it enough. It's as simple as that. So we've seen it in the first game. Can that be a translation of the next game and the game after and the game after? Are we eventually going to revert back to the 2022 and pretty much as well the 2021 Chicago Bulls? Are we going to revert to that style once again? If we do, then it's clear that the identity that we're working on is still not yet, at the place that it needs to be. But I can't lie. What I saw against Milwaukee, especially in the first half, I think the second half was a little bit lackluster, especially offensively. We can't hide from the facts that we let Milwaukee pretty much get a fairly decent lead, and we had to play comeback in the fourth quarter. We know that, right? And a lot of people are not happy with that, even though it is just preseason. But for the first half, with kind of the rotations that you saw, yeah, we were shooting a lot more threes. We were playing a lot more in transition. Our style definitely felt more modern than it probably did in the past. And I'm of the mindset that you can have both old school and new school basketball in your team. And I think we have a good team to do it. You have old school basketball with Nikola Vucevic in the post. Post play is often forgotten in the NBA. There are very few players that enter the post and do it with effectiveness. Vucevic is one of those players. That's old school basketball right there. That's something that was done in the 80s and 90s, and it can still be done in this modern time. But you also have a team around Vucevic that can be more modernized, can play more of a 2023 style where it's three-point shots galore and stuff of that nature. So again, it's something we'll have to wait and see about. And I think a good coach can actually put the old school style and new school styles into one sort of game plan to actually get the best out of their team. Because there are so many players in the NBA, even until now, that are considered old school players. But old school players can still fit in modern systems if you have the right coaching staff in place. I truly believe so. And we'll have to wait and see how that works. I mean, I'm excited to see how that works. Last but not least, as we move over into number 3, the Bulls look actually happy to be back on the court. I don't really know what this one means, in all honesty, because I don't see a reason why the Bulls wouldn't be happy to be on the court. I think last year, even though we were struggling, you saw the Bulls happy to be on the court. I think Bulls fans are probably happy to see them back on the court, and I think maybe this training camp could serve wonders in terms of limiting those distractions so early on. And I guess maybe they feel more confident in the team that they have now than maybe they did last year, with new additions and obviously with improvements. And I think the accepting of the fact that Lonzo won't be back from the very beginning of the year. You know, last year they didn't have that really. They were still wondering whether or not Lonzo will be back towards the end of the season. They were kind of always waiting for Lonzo. This year we know Lonzo won't be back this season. Even if he's actually available to come back, because of the disabled player exception, Lonzo won't be back. We know that now. And maybe the Bulls don't necessarily need to wait for that anymore. And they might feel more comfortable, and that might make them a little bit more happier. But it's, again, if you're an NBA player, I know there are some obviously outliers. Some people don't necessarily like the game of basketball, but are just talented in that and they use it to make money. Each to their own. I'm sure there are some people out there in the league, but I would say the vast majority of NBA players will be happy to be back on the court and happy to play basketball again. And the Chicago Bulls players will fall into that category. And I think you see it with how often these players want to play. DeMar DeRozan never want to skip a game. Vucevic played 82 games last season. Patrick Williams played 82 games last season. Zach LaVine, even in his injuries, played over 70 games last season. Kobe White is someone that you could tell by the way that he plays that he wants to be on the court. I think we have players that want to play, and I think we have players that are always happy to play. I don't really know what this one means, but maybe it's in the sense that because the Bulls were so down bad last season, so up and down, that maybe the Bulls lost their happiness in the game of basketball, and therefore they lost their confidence and everything kind of crumbled into a 500 type of season, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't really know what that one means. You can let me know if I'm missing something there. I didn't necessarily read what their examples were, but just by reading what they said in terms of the title of the third choice or the third option, I truly believe that we've always had players that are happy to play, but being happy doesn't always necessarily mean winning basketball, if you know what I mean. So let's hope that the Bulls are happy to be back now, but when it comes to the regular season, they won't be happy settling for 500. Maybe sometimes that anger should actually get in the way and get back to those good times and winning times. I think it's important, just because we're happy, just because we're excited to be back, that we should not be settling. And we should definitely not settle for a 500 season again. Let's hope we see more than that from this Bulls team this upcoming season. But again, it's way too early. These are kind of the early predictions of the Chicago Bulls. And by no means will any of these things actually come to light during the regular season. But we're hopeful. We're hopeful Kobe White has a breakout season. We're hopeful that the Bulls do shoot the ball like it's 2023 and does improve their three-point shooting and their transition points and all these things that make the modern NBA so special, and maybe even integrate some old school style back to the Chicago Bulls. Maybe both of them can work for us. I'm not too sure. That'll be up to Billy Donovan. I'm excited for that, and I'm obviously excited for the Bulls to be happy to be back on the court. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Drop a like and a follow and or subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next Chicago Bulls related video. Get in the comments below. If we get enough comments, I'll be happy to make a video, I guess, talking about your comments in the future. If not, then obviously we'll just do what we normally do, make videos about the Bulls. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.